Good afternoon. This is Debbie Broughton, your Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from St. Robert, Missouri. And I'm here this afternoon to continue my fabulous February Funfold class. This is day 3. I'm going to see if I can get more of this in the picture. I'm probably going to be really sorry I did that. There we go. Now to see if we're straight. I think that we pretty much are straight today. Now I can kind of move these over a little bit. I just wanted you to be able to see more of my area. You can see the corner of my laptop because I have to have it sitting here so I can see comments. It is 12 degrees here today, and I think we probably got maybe 6 inches, 8 inches of snow. It's hard for me to tell. It was very windy, so there's a lot of drifts in my backyard, so it's kind of hard to tell exactly how much snow we got. I just know it's a lot. And it's a very sunny day, so that kind of fools you because you don't think it's 12 out there. But it is. But some of the snow's already melted off the top of my privacy fence, so that's a good thing. I imagine we'll probably be kind of snowed in for a while, at least until maybe tomorrow afternoon, because we're supposed to get to below 0 tonight, so everything will freeze again. But enough about the weather. We're here to stamp. These are samples of what we're gonna do today. When I found this on YouTube, they called it the double flap card because you have 2 flaps that you're going to fold over, and it's not really as hard as you think to get those flaps to fold back like that. I will show you and give you some tips. And when I use a 6x6 piece of paper of the DSP, I have enough left to do the top of an envelope. So I would use this side because I wouldn't want my toadstools to be laying on their sides. And this toadstool paper is free in Celebration, which ends next Friday the 28th. So if it's something that you're interested in, you can get it free with a $60 purchase. This is the in colors for 24 to 26 DSP. It comes in a 6x6 pack. And when I made this one, I thought, oh, that looks kind of plain there with nothing. And so I could have stamped something, but I don't have the mushroom stamp set. And I couldn't think of anything else to stamp. So when I made this one, I first embossed my card front with the distressed brick wall. And that just kind of gives it some texture, and it just doesn't look so plain to me. So you could do that also. That's why I put a note that I forgot to say, have an embossing folder of your list of supplies for today. So, again, I had enough left over to do the flap of the envelope. So let's move these up here out of our way. If you're here today and watching with me or making the card with me, that's so great. If you could just comment hello or hi, I'm here, or we have snow too, then that would be great, just so I can know someone's out there watching. So let's get started. The first, one more thing I want to show you in case you watched yesterday's and I lost the lure and the cork to finish off my fish card. I found it. They were underneath the book where I had written all my directions in. And so this will go inside here after I stamp on it and write my note. It will go right in there with that little cork. And I have the lure or a spinner on the front. So I just wanted to show you that I did finish that card. So today we're going to start with the Thoughtful Journey paper, which is right here. So the first thing you're going to do is I picked Pretty Peacock because it's one of my favorite colors and it kind of brings out the peacock that's in the paper. I'm going to reach for a bone folder. And then I'm going to crease my card base, which is the first thing I always do. So I got that. So I'm going to lay this out like it was a 6x6 sheet of paper. It would have looked like this. So the first thing I do is cut off 2 inches. That way I have a whole strip for the envelope. And then I cut off the 3/4 off the bottom. Or if the sky was bigger and I wanted to lose some of the sky, I would have cut it off the top. That makes a nice strip to put at the bottom of my inside. And then this is what we're going to work with, this piece. So the first thing I think we're going to do is we're going to take our card base, and I picked out, let's see here, I picked out the Swirl embossing folder. It's a 3D one, so it's kind of thick. And I'm going to place this is the front of my card, so I just want to put it in here like this. I know that it might not get, I'm going to have the fold right there. So there might be like a 1/4 of an inch here that's not going to get embossed, but the paper hides it when you finish the card. So I'm just going to hurry and run over to the embossing. And if you are working along with me, get your embossing folder out, get your paper in there, and let's run it through the machine. I should have probably already had my sandwich over here at the machine fixed up. Because you have to have a different sandwich when you're doing embossing folders than when you do dies. Today it's so very hard to... There we go. Did you hear that pop when it came out? Okay. And this one is not, I was wrong, this one is not a 3D, it's just the extra long. That only matters when you're putting it in the machine how to layer your plates. Okay, see how it did miss kind of over here, but it's going to be completely hidden when we put this paper on there. And we really just wanted it for this little spot that's open in the front. So the next thing we're going to do, now this might sound a little complicated, but it's not really that hard. We're going to have our piece of paper here, and I'm going to mark on the back of it. So I want to go down. Let me just check my numbers to be sure. I'm going to say 2 5/8, but I'm not confident. Yes. I want to go 2 5/8 down, which is halfway down. So I want to be sure it's going to be this side that I'm marking. So I want to go 2 5/8. And on my ruler, 5/8 is 1 medium size slash past 2.5. And I'm going to put a little mark there. So I'm just going to put like a little dot. And then I want to go from that dot, I want to go across Let me read again because I don't want to make a mistake. 1 3/4. So I'm going to put the 3/4 line of the ruler on the paper. I'm going to go right up to that dot. And I'm just going to make a line. Well, I guess not. We'll just put a dot. So we want to cut from here to here. That's why I said you were going to need your cutter. And I have mine here. So I'm going to put that in. I'm still being sure that I have it at the right spot. I'm going to put this in, and when you put your arm down for your cutter, you're going to be able to see those 2 dots right through this little window here. And you can get them lined up. And you want to start at the top where your dot is and come down to your second dot. So we're just going to come down. Now, if I didn't quite make it down far enough because I didn't want to go too far, but I can get that 1/4 of an inch with my scissors. So there. Now we're going to place it in here, and we're going to put this inside dot, the second dot that we made, so that we could see it through the little hole here. And we want the very corner, see how it looks right up with the slit in the cutter. And I do not want to use my cutting blade. I better move it down here or I will. And I am going to score it. There we go. Now, of course, you know what we're going to do on this side. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to put the corner there, and we want to see the dot through the slit in the cutter. And we're going to come down, and you can kind of tell this little line on the side tells you when the scoring blade is even with where you're trying to score. So now I got that. So now the magic will happen. That wasn't too bad. Then we're going to take this piece and we're going to fold it over. And see, I really should have used pencil. I used a pen. I should have used a pencil because then you wouldn't see that mark. I'm going to put one of my embellishments on there. So now there you have it. So I'm just going to crease these a little bit. If you wanted to, you could put a little adhesive and hold these down. That's entirely up to you. I think I'm going to do that. I can't remember if I did that on my samples or not. That little dot just stands out so big now, doesn't it? Hi, Anna. Thank you for watching. You need to make some of these cards and post them in the comments so we can see what yours turn out to look like. So I'm simply just going to put a little bit of my green adhesive back there to hold that piece down a little. And next we are going to add it to our card base. Like I said, now it won't even be noticeable that we didn't make it all the way to the edge with the embossing because we're never going to see that. So we're going to turn this over and we're going to add some adhesive on the back. And I'm going to have to hold the card up. I can't do it laying down unless I put my head right over it. I'm sure you don't want to see the back of my head. Okay, let me just kind of smooth this down. Now you really do want to kind of maybe use the adhesive because we have so much texture on the back, and sometimes when you have textured, the green glue is easier and better to hold to have a good hold because it goes down into all the little crevices. So, we're almost done. Next, we're going to do our greeting, which I have somewhere here. You know, you have everything ready and then you start to do the video and everything that you thought was laying right here is no longer laying. Here they are. Okay, I used the words from the Garden Meadow Thinking of You, and I used the Something Fancy dies, and I cut this out, and then I cut this out on a smaller one and stamped it in peacock to match the card base. But first I want to kind of put some Wink of Stella on here. So let me find my Wink of Stella. Of course, when you want something, it's never where it's supposed to be. Oh, here it was where it was supposed to be. I just didn't see it. So I am just going to Wink of Stella this back peacock piece. Maybe. You just need to push it, shake it first, and then put your thumb and your index finger there so you can squeeze it to have some come out. Now we mostly just want around the edges because we know you're not going to see underneath it where we're going to put the tag. So we're just going to kind of make a border with this. This is my Wink of Stella that's almost gone. I like to use it till it's completely gone. It's just to kind of give it a little shimmer. There we go. And then we're going to take this and glue it in the middle of the larger tag. See how that Wink of Stella, well, sometimes it's hard to see on a video. It's just right around the edges. Now we want to put on some ribbon, because we always have to have ribbon. Oh, you know, this is so very frustrating when you think you have everything sitting here. I know I had, although I do have some stamp sets and stuff set out over here. So I have some peacock ribbon. We'll go on to the next step and maybe I will come upon it when I'm working here. Oh, I see. It fell when I went to get the cutter. So I have this beautiful peacock ribbon, but it's kind of hard to tie in a bow because it's wide. Hi, Judy. I'm glad that you could join me. I think you will really like this card. Don't let the fact that you have to do that, the cuts and the folds, because once you do one, it just becomes so easy. So let me get my tear and tape here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some of this pretty peacock ribbon behind this tag, but I'm not going to make a bow with it. So I'm going to need 4 pieces of tear and tape, 2 waiting here, just so I don't have to tear them off when I have the ribbon laid down, and then 2 on the back of the tag. One more for the back of the tag. You know, might need the tear and tape again. I better lay it somewhere where I can find it easy. Then I'm going to use the paper piercer part of my pick-a tool and pick off the back. Very much static today. I have a little heater in my stamping room. And today being so cold, I had it on earlier, and that just helps the air to get drier and static builds up. Okay, so now we're going to take our ribbon and we're going to stick it down here to the tear and tape. We're going to make a loop. We're going to come down here. Now, if you wanted to, you could do these separately and save a little bit of ribbon, but I like to kind of just go ahead and do it all at once. So, see, that's going to be a nice little, it looks like ribbon. I mean, it is ribbon, like you have a bow back there. And we're going to cut this off to make like the tail of the ribbon, of the bow. But we're going to use our ribbon scissors because they cut ribbon so nicely. I have to reach again. I guess I didn't have everything out. I'm just going to cut that. See how much nicer that cut than the paper scissors? And then I'm just going to take another little piece and put it up here as the other end of the bow. So there we go. We kind of have loopy loops. Then we're going to take this piece that we were saving and we're going to put it back here to kind of hold it down. And we're going to take this piece and hold down this part. Then we're going to put the lid on our adhesive so it doesn't dry out, and we're going to get some dimensionals to pop this up because it's going to be kind of bulky. So do you use the edges of your dimensionals? They make nice long pieces to work for something like this where you need a long piece. I'm going to put one here in the middle, and then I'm going to tear another one off for the back. We try not to waste here in Nana's Stampin' Room. We use up every piece that we can. I just went ahead and stamped this and stuff so that it would be a shorter video. See what I tell you? There's so much static here. And now we're going to just kind of fit this to cover up where it comes together there. And we're going to get this on straight. And then next we're going to use some embellishments. So, as always, I'm going to tell you this, that I keep my embellishments in these passport holders that I found on Amazon so that they're easier to find and they're easier to look through, and if one falls off like they do sometimes, it'll be stuck inside the envelope. So I think these right here match Pretty Peacock pretty well. So let me find my Picket tool again. You know, sometimes it's like I just purposely lay things in weird spots because we know I just used the Picket tool. So we'll use scissors. We use our paper scissors. So first of all, I'm going to put one right there to cover up the dot I made for the folding. And you know, you always put odd number of embellishments. That's what my mother taught me when she used to do crafts and painting and things, that you always want an odd number on your project. So there we go. Now, if I wanted to, I could put some more Wink of Stella and stuff on the top, just being very careful that I didn't ruin my ink because it might try to bleed a little. Usually, if you just use a light touch, you'll be good. This is for the envelope, and this is for the piece that goes inside. And see, I have my pieces still. I'm getting very low. I guess I need a night of watching a TV show and cutting insides. It goes by really fast when you do that. For some reason, my board is uneven today. I think because I have it up on my camera stand a little bit. Now that'll match our card. Our envelope, I'm going to use this side because it goes well enough with the picture here. And if I use this side, everything will be going sideways. Put that in there. So finished with card number 1. So now, if you noticed on this card, this is not the back of the Papa Petunia. See, the back of the Papa Petunia is stripes. And I didn't really want that. I wanted it to be kind of a contrast. So I used some of the Pretty in Pink in color DSP. And I'm going to show you how to do that in case you don't like the back of your paper that you chose, or you just want a more contrasting card. So we're going to do it with the Regal Winter 6x6 DSP. And we cut it again just like we did for the first card. I cut off 2 inches, and then I made this be 4 by 5 1/4, and I have this strip for the inside of the card, which I'm going to lay right up there so I'll be able to find it easy. This is for the envelope. Now this is to be the contrasting color that's going to be the flaps, because the back of this is purple, or Blackberry Bliss, and I don't know, it didn't look like it really went together as much as I think this Blueberry Bushel goes with the Night of Navy. So what we're going to do is, we want this part to show. So we're going to turn this over, and this is 2.5 by 5 1/4, and we're going to glue it to the back like this. Put the side that you want to show on the front. See, now that's going to show when you fold it over on the front. So let me get my adhesive. This is just a way to add some different color to it. Isn't this pretty paper? I just love this paper. I'm not sure if it's on the last chance list yet, but I do know that it was in the winter mini, the holiday mini. Okay, so I've got that fixed. So now we're going to do our little measurements like we did before. The only thing, it's going to be so hard to see a pencil mark or a pen mark. So what I did is, I found one of my white gel pens. And again, the dot might show like it did on my last card when we get it finished, but I will just put an embellishment over it. Let me put these away, because we don't need them anymore. Okay, so we're going to measure down 2 5/8. Anna and Judy, I want you to make cards using this method, and then we could post them in the comments, and everybody could see some different ideas, different paper. I was wondering what it would look like if I made one horizontal like this, or like this. I think that might look cute too. Okay, so 2 5/8, which is the second mark past the half on this ruler. Some rulers don't have 16ths, but this one does. So we're going to be able to see that dot? I think so. I hope so. And then we're going to go this way, 1 3/4. So I'm going to put the 3/4 right at the edge. I'm going to be sure that my ruler is straight. Oops, messed up a little bit there. Be sure that my ruler is straight. Then I'm just going to draw a line. I'm going to cut through the line so it shouldn't show. There we go. Now we're going to get our cutter back up here. And the first thing we're going to do is cut that slit. So I'm going to lay that line just so you can see it right through the slit in the cutter. That means it's right down there in the groove. And you want to cut to the end of it, remembering that these little marks on the side show us where the end is. But I usually try to stop a little bit before it, just so I don't go over it. And then I'm going to use my snips to get that last 1/4 of an inch. Now here we go with the corner. Move my cutting blade down here because I'm forever cutting things I need to score. My corner is in the slit. I'm going to put this down and see that the dot or the end of the line is right there. And then I'm just going to take my scoring tool and go down until it touches that line. And then I'm going to do the same on this side. Oh, for some reason I couldn't see there's the corner. And then I want to move this end of the line right there. Okay. Now, let's see if it worked. It should. Oh, look, it worked perfect. So there's one flap. And here's the other flap. Now, the reason that you glue that piece behind there is so that everything will be cut exactly the same. If you try to cut one and cut the other and then put them together, sometimes you're going to be off even by like a 1/16 of an inch. So, definitely I'm going to add some adhesive to hold these down because they're much thicker now. Just have to hold it down a little bit because it's pretty thick. You might even want to just use a piece of tear and tape, which is stronger than liquid adhesive. Excuse me, I'm getting some sniffles and a cough from the cold weather. If this pops up again, I'm going to just use some tear and tape. Because it takes a lot to hold something down that's 2 layers thick. Okay. Looks like it's going to go. Now, for this one, I decided to use a white background. Just because that would make this pop. Oh, but wait. We forgot to put something here so that we just don't have a plain surface. So, I have another embossing folder. This one is retired, but I just reached in and decided I'd go with what I picked out first. And it kind of looks like little flowers. This came in a trio. So, this time we're going to have to do it from the side because these embossing folders are not as wide as the other one that we used. So we're going to do this. We're going to put that on the crease. And now we're going to put this. Now you're always supposed to put the folded end of your embossing folder first through the rollers. But since I have to have it like this, I think I'm just going to try it once. It's much better to go put it in like this, but I don't want to bend my paper to try to make it fit in the machine. So, I'll be right back. It loves to pop so loud when you come out at the end, doesn't it? You think that something broke in the machine, but it didn't. Okay, see? That worked perfect. It even got all the way to the end over here. We're going to crease this again with our bone folder now that we've put it through the embossing folder. And we're going to put some adhesive on the back of this. See, even though that purple doesn't kind of go with the blue, I just like the blue on blue better. And it was a way to show you how to do this to get multiple layers. So we're going to add this here. Again, I have to kind of pick it up to do that. There we go. I like to kind of smooth this down a lot because it's got to so textured in the background. All right, now I already have our tag ready. I used the, since I had that out for the other card, I decided I'll just make this one be a thinking of you also. So again, we can put some Wink of Stella back here. It's really looking. I do have a newer Wink of Stella, but I'm going to go with this one because I want to try to squeeze out all that I can. And it doesn't have to be a lot of Stella. I just want to give it a little shimmer in the background here. Glue this. So how, oh, I know what we're going to do for this. I was going to say how we're going to do the ribbon, but I have that already prepared. I put some adhesive on the back there. I'm going to lay this down in the middle. There we have it. Now, do you remember how I made this bow yesterday for the fishing card? And then I decided, oh, I don't know if a fishing card needs a bow. I got it back out of my little container that I put my safe things in and decided, hey, I've already got my bow for today. I just need a glue dot. I need to tear off some of this paper on my glue dots. Here's the one right there. I'm going to take my bow. I'm going to press it down there. It's going to press it down there. And it's going to pick it up. And then I am just going to place this in the corner. Oh, that makes a nice little bow there, doesn't it? So this time, since we have the bow is bulky, we're going to just go ahead and glue this tag down rather than pop it up with dimensionals. You don't want to get it too high for the post office, otherwise it will cost more postage if it can't go through the canceling machine. And then we're going to add this right here. Oh, I think this card, I was wondering what this card would look like using the light blue and the darker blue, but it turned out pretty nice. Now, what should we do for the embellishments? Well, here's what I decided to do. I decided to lose them over here in this stack of things. Herbie's been pretty quiet today. He's laying right here behind me instead of on my feet like he usually does. All right. We'll just get a different embellishments because we know I will find them as soon as this is over. This is what, I know this looks a little messy, but I have all my embellishments here in their little folders. And then I have all my different adhesives, my strips, my sheets, my glue dots, my dimensionals, my tear and tape goes in here. Then everything's just right here when I want to pick it up. I know it's almost as tall as the camera is, so it looks, but it's very convenient. So I know what I'm looking for. I was going to use the Druzy embellishments that were in this catalog. I think they went maybe with the butterflies. But unfortunately, I laid them somewhere. And now I've laid things I've used on top of them over there. So we're going to go with, I wanted to go with something bright and shiny because it's such a dark paper. So we will just go with some regular rhinestones. I was trying to think of what they were. Rhinestones. And we'll use our scissors to get them off with. I think I'm going to have to do what I used to do. Put my stuff in a basket. In a little basket that sat here. Then I didn't lay things on top of it and lose them. Okay, that's a nice bright one. That kind of brightens it up a little. We'll put another one down here. And one up in this corner. So there we go. I have this little strip. Now, sometimes when I make a white card base, I don't put another piece of white in here because that kind of seems redundant. So I could just glue this to the bottom here. But if I do put a white piece in, it helps me in case I make a mistake when I am stamping. So I'm going to wait and see what happens when I get ready to stamp my greeting on the inside. This is for my envelope. And I will show you how that fits right on the envelope. You're going to just open your envelope flap up like this. You're going to lay your piece here all the way up to the seam. Then you're going to add glue, lay down your piece. Then you can flip it over and you can just cut around. And then you'll have a matching envelope. People love to get matching envelopes in the mail. Do you guys have any questions? I'll wait just a minute or two to see if any questions come through. Now we're going to bark because I hear the snowplow coming down the street. So we're going to bark a lot to tell them that we're here. In case you didn't know. Here's another little tip while I'm waiting to see if there's any questions. This is what I do. This is how I keep my ribbon from unraveling. I bought these mini binding clips, or whatever you call them. And they'll still stack. Let's see, I have some other ribbon over here I can show you. They'll still stack nicely on each other. You just kind of alternate where your binder clip is. And they'll still stack nicely. Or go in. I have one ribbon. We used to sell a ribbon holder a long time ago, and I still have one of them. And they go in there and they sit like this. But that way, I'm not forever chasing my ribbons around when they unravel. Okay, well, I hope everybody has a good rest of your day. And I will see you tomorrow with another fabulous February Fun Fold class. Bye.